Okay, I'm done now with the artificial part of this Super Healthy Me diet or program that I've been on. And that's really what it was. It was a diet. I was basically on a detoxification program for 28 days. Lots of supplements, couple of shakes. And now comes the real test, like from now on. What I have to do from now on is eat real food. And to help us with that, we're with the Beaumont Weight Control's Sylvia Very. Sylvia is a nutritionist, and it's great to be here.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
And here comes my question now. I have to eat real food.
That's right.
What and how do I start eating good stuff?
Yeah, well, you have been partially. You've been doing some meal replacements for structure, but then you've been eating meals in the evening. And I was noticing that you're eating a lot of salads for your vegetable, which is great because vegetables.
Salads, a little bit of chicken, a little grilled chicken.
Yep, and that's your protein. So I like the fact that you're eating the salads because you want a bulk of your meal to come from fruits and vegetables. So you're definitely getting that bulk, that feeling of fullness from the vegetables. If you don't mind, I'd like to show you something actually about fruits and vegetables. Have you seen the new plate, My Plate, choosemyplate.gov? On this plate,
okay,
this has replaced the food guide pyramid. So on this plate you can see that half the plate should be covered with fruits and vegetables. That's the filler. So it's real important for us to try to portion control our protein serving at the meal as well as our grain serving. And once we do that and have the fruits and vegetables as a filler, it's a nice balanced complete meal, satisfying meal.
So the protein here is my meat.
Yes, that's right.
And these are veggies. I know what those are. I know what fruit is. What do you mean the grains? That's a lot of grains there.
Yeah, so your grains are your starches or your carbohydrates. Ideally, they're whole grain. But I'm thinking more like brown rice or whole wheat pasta, whole grain bread. That's what I would put in that grains part. So fruits and vegetables are lower in calories than protein and carbohydrates are. And I want to kind of show you an example of that with this demo here. So for 100 calories, you could eat 4 cups of broccoli. This is just 100 calories. With cantaloupe, you can have almost 2 cups. A cup and 3/4 is equivalent to 100 calories. With walnuts, it's just 2 tablespoons. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Yeah, especially with the holidays coming up, it's hard to just portion control walnuts to 2 tablespoons or any nut. And then we have chocolate chips here, and you can have 1.5 tablespoons for 100 calories.
All of these
are equivalent
to 100 calories.
Right. Now, my question for you is, why do you think you can have 4 cups of broccoli and almost 2 cups of cantaloupe for 100 calories, but you can't have that much for chocolate chips and walnuts?
Because, well, I mean, the obvious thing is
what do you think is in broccoli and cantaloupe?
probably a lot more nutrients.
There's nutrients, yep, definitely.
More water.
Yes. And water is calorie free. Yeah, that's the ticket. So cantaloupe and broccoli have a lot of water in it, so it takes up a lot of space, but it doesn't have a lot of calories. And it doesn't have any calories, for that matter, water. And the other thing that broccoli and cantaloupe have is fiber. And fiber also takes up space. It gives you that sense of fullness, but again, it doesn't have any calories. There's a lot of variety, especially in unhealthy snacks. And you can probably have noticed that the snack aisle has gone from 1 aisle to 2 aisles to potentially almost 3 aisles in the grocery store, from cookies to chips. And the holidays are coming up too, so you still want to be able to have snacks at your party, but you want to try to make them as healthful as possible. So nuts tends to be a common snack, and these are cashews. So they're just hard to portion control. It's a healthy fat, they're high in protein, but Trader Joe's has come up with these individual bagged portions of nuts, and this is a 1 ounce portion. That's a portion, and it's about 200 calories.
This is 200 calories?
Yes, that's already 200 calories.
That's 200 calories.
It is. And normally we try to eat a handful, but then a handful turns into 2 or 3. So it's just easier when you just grab this and you walk away. And then there's crackers too. So at your holiday party, you're probably going to have maybe a cheese platter or something else, ideally, hopefully reduced fat cheese. But it's okay to have crackers. It's just trying to find whole grain crackers. So we have these whole grain kashi crackers and these grain first crackers. A portion is going to be ideally 100 calories. So for 100
is that?
You can have 15 of these crackers for 100 calories. But other than nuts and crackers, what we were talking about before is with bulk, you get a lot of bulk with your vegetables. So you really need to have vegetables at your party. Because when all else fails, at least you know you can go to the veggie tray and you're not going to do too bad. The only thing you have to be careful with is the dip. So this veggie tray came with this ranch veggie dip. If you can portion control and have about a tablespoon, you're okay. But otherwise, if portion control is difficult for you, which it is for most of us, these dips from Oasis are fantastic. Hummus is healthy, but hummus typically has olive oil in it and tahini paste, which is high in fat. But this one is their zero fat black bean dip, which you could actually have this whole container for 110 calories. And this is, I believe, a 12-ounce container. They also have this great lentil dip. And we also can do our own snacks. So instead of buying veggie trays, you could buy a bag of kale and make kale chips.
Kale chips?
Yeah, have you ever had them before?
I've had kale, it's pretty bitter.
Yeah, but when you roast it in the oven with a little bit of salt and olive oil, they get crispy like a potato chip. They're great. So we're gonna try these next.
All right, what do we do?
So what we do is I ended up buying this bag. It's pre-washed and pre-cut kale, and that's probably one of the challenges with kale is that usually you get big leaves of it and you have to clean it and wash it and take the ribs out or the stems out because they're kind of too hard. But when you buy it like this, it's very simple. So we're just going to put some in a bag. You can or in a bowl here. You can kind of eyeball it too, how much olive oil you're going to put in it and how much kosher salt. Some people don't even add the olive oil or salt. I mean, it's completely up to you. But if you want to, you're just going to toss this together. It's supposed to be about 2 tablespoons. But again, you can eyeball it. And then we're going to put a little bit of kosher salt in here.
Sea salt, okay for that?
Yep.
Yeah,
sea salt or whatever you have. And then all we're going to do then is put it on a cookie sheet, and then we're going to put it in a 350-degree oven for 10 to 15 minutes.
All right. Kale cookies.
Yes, or kale cookies.
Kale chips. Huh?
Yep. So it's going to be exciting to see what you think when they come out. Try to put them on in an even layer so that they're not overlapping and they get too moist. So I have a preheated oven. And there they are. So we'll keep an eye on them and see what happens to them. So now, like I was telling you before, I was concerned that maybe eventually with time, with having salads every night for dinner, that you're going to get bored with the salads.
Every night
I
have salads. Yeah. Yes, it's true.
It's true. So I wanted to give you some other ideas, some other alternatives, not just having salads. And for everybody, I think it's important to have that variety. So I wanted you to help me make this roasted asparagus and mushroom recipe. Because roasting vegetables is a good way to have vegetables. It kind of concentrates the flavor, and I think that the vegetables come out sweeter, and a lot of people seem to like that. You can also roast spaghetti squash and butternut squash and acorn squash too, especially now that it's fall. These are kind of your winter squashes, especially with spaghetti squash, the yellow one. I don't know if you've ever had that roasted.
Never have.
But you can cut it in half. After you roast it, when you cut it in half, you take the seeds out, and then the squash itself is very stringy. So you just take a fork and you string it out, and it's like spaghetti.
Really?
Yeah, so it's a low-starch vegetable. It's a vegetable you can eat an unlimited amount of. Very few calories. Add some spaghetti sauce, and it could be a new alternative for you.
Spaghetti squash spaghetti. Okay.
Yes, that's right.
So what do we do here?
Yeah, but this is the roasted asparagus and mushrooms. So what I need you to do is cut the bottom ends of the asparagus, and I don't know if you've ever seen this trick, that you naturally should cut it where it bends. So I would say this is kind of cut, broke off a little bit early, but at least like 2 inches off the bottom for each of these. Yep. So
Okay.
And then you take the knife and then you just cut it the rest of the way. So you can match it up and just cut it right down there. Or break it off with your fingers, either way.
So, right where it normally bends.
Yep, and that's where you break it off. Okay. So you can tell that the bottom end is kind of tough, so you don't really want to eat that part. And then depending on the season too, like in May, you can put those right on there on the cookie sheet.
Don't I have to cut these in?
You've been cutting them. Yeah, you're doing good. Yeah, that's where it naturally breaks off, so you're taking the ends off. And then in the springtime, when asparagus is more in season, they're more tender and you can really eat the whole thing.
So this can go in my compost pile.
That's right, that can go in your compost. Yep, just put them right there on the cookie sheet, spread them out. So they're just one layer.
Okay.
Perfect. And now we're going to add mushrooms, and I just cut these in half, so if you don't mind cutting these in half for me. Here's your knife.
Trusting me with a knife?
Yeah. Does your wife trust you with a knife?
No. No. She doesn't like blood in the food.
You're doing a great job. Perfect. It's very easy.
Yeah.
You didn't even have to use a knife for the asparagus. Just broke those ends off, cutting these in half. Great.
Okay.
Now you just throw them right on top.
Just no order? Just
no
like
order.
that?
Yep, just throw them right on top.
Okay.
And then the next thing we're going to do is spray this with cooking spray.
How much?
So just, yep, perfect. Nice little coating, done. Now we're gonna add spices to it. So with the kale, we added olive oil and salt. So if you wanna be careful of the amount of fat that you're putting in your food, and you wanna be careful of the amount of sodium you're putting in your food, especially if you have high blood pressure, you don't have to do either one. So we used some Pam spray on this, and now we're gonna use spices and no salt. So this is garlic powder. So we're gonna put, you can put either, yep, that's actually the best way to do it. It's a 1/4 teaspoon, but you can use as much as you want. And then it's a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. So it's a lot of flavor without any sodium. And then it's a 1/4 teaspoon of rosemary.
Rosemary?
Yeah. Have you ever had that before?
No.
And it's powdered. Perfect. That's good. And so now
We
you
need a
just,
little more garlic.
now you need a little more garlic. Oh my goodness. Well, the nice thing is you really can make it any way you want, right?
Okay.
Have fun with it, right?
Okay.
So if you want to just move it around so that it's just a nice even coating. And now this is going to go into a, let's see, here's the recipe. 500-degree oven for 8 minutes. Yay, our kale is done. It's been about 10-15 minutes. Can you tell how it's gotten kind of crispy? The edges?
Crispy kale. Oh,
Crispy
boy.
kale. It used to fill up the whole tray, and you can tell how
Yeah,
it's
shrunk down. a
it's
little.
shrunk down. So
Somehow
here
I
we
think
go.
Less is better than crispy. I'll try it.
Oh, you're gonna like it. So I'm just gonna put some here on this dish.
Okay, so this is what I would serve at a holiday.
Yeah, this could be a snack at a holiday party, especially if everyone's hanging out in the kitchen.
Don't have to worry about the guests coming back on that one.
Oh no, come on, you can smell it. It smells really good, and it's crispy.
Okay, here's the test. This is the real test. Not it crispy. This is kale. Kale chips.
What do you
That's
think?
pretty good.
Yay! And you can always add, whatever spices you want to.
That
We
really
kept it
is
very
good.
simple. We just added olive oil and a little bit of sea salt.
And crunches.
Yeah, it is crunchy.
I will be darned. That
Does it
is good.
still taste like kale, like what you think kale tastes like?
It tastes like kind of like spinachy kale, but it's good. It tastes, it's flavorful.
Good, good. Fantastic. So you'll
So-
have to try it out at your next
Yeah.
party. He just keeps eating it, so you must like it.
I just can't believe it tastes good.
That's
it
great.
It really tastes good.
Yay, it's a pleasant surprise then.
All right, kale chips.
Fantastic.
I like it.
Very good. Put that on the next menu.
Mikey likes everything.
So the roasted asparagus is ready. Since you made them, you can do the honors of taking them
right.
out of the oven.
All right.
Make sure not to burn your fingers. Can you smell that rosemary?
Oh yeah, rosemary.
They're really sizzling in there. It's a 500-degree oven, so it's pretty hot.
Look at that.
Woohoo! That looks fantastic. Perfect.
Okay.
They're nice and brown, so they're pretty hot. But I don't know if you want to tempt it
Wow.
now to try it, or if you want to wait a little bit and blow on it. Be careful. What do you think?
There's some rosemary on that. I put a little too much.
Well, that's how it goes. You experiment. You put what you want and then give it a try and see what happens.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, so we just did asparagus and mushroom, but you can do a wide variety of different vegetables. You can do red pepper, you can do tomatoes, you can roast onions. Like I said, you can roast your squashes while that's really hot. You're brave. Very good. And that's the important thing, is just variety. So try roasting your vegetables, try grilling them, making them into a
ever
soup.
good.
Good, good.
That is
I'm
really
glad.
good.
Excellent.
So we got roasted asparagus, roasted mushrooms, we got kale chips. We've learned all sorts of treats, and Sylvia's advice is going to help me through the holidays in particular. But what's really neat about it is this is real food. It's good for me food. It's natural food, organic food. It's going to help me be super healthy me. Thanks for watching.